Anxiety robbing your personal happiness. Hi, I'm Dr. Crockett, and this is Dr. Crocker with Zeal Integrated Health. And today we want to talk about the prevalence of anxiety disorders in our world today. You know, this is one of the most common mental disorders in the United States, and we're seeing this affect just more and more people. I think there's a statistic like 40 million people in the U.S., about 18% of the population really struggling with this. And I think what's more important to point out is we're seeing this really affect younger and younger people. We're seeing about 25% of our children impacted by this, and whether this is changes related to COVID and people being isolated a little bit more, maybe just that change from their normal school routine and being around their friends or family members maybe as much, but we do see this growing. And so we want to spend some time talking about this and address some of these issues so that maybe you can take this knowledge and apply it to where it needs in your family, in your life. And so let's start just talking about some of the things that happens with anxiety. How's it impact? Let's start with kids. How's it impact them? What's going on with the children?
Yeah, so it's really affecting them from a whole standpoint, to the fact of they're just not getting treated. They're putting themselves at a higher risk for developmental disorders. They're putting their risk for substance abuse, social disorders, depression. That's one of the things that we're seeing a lot nowadays is more and more, especially with the world that we live in, is just there's more and more problems that they're having come out of this, whether it be some of those disorders or other things. And unfortunately, only about 36% of these they receive treatment. They're just not getting the help that they need, and it's just affecting how their whole world is being ran.
You see them just kind of drop out of school because of these issues, and just think of the impact that has on just their livelihood, their quality of life, how they interact through life with just everybody, their friends and family. So we know that you're 6 times more likely to get hospitalized with a psychological disorder when you start out with anxiety and it doesn't get handled properly. That's going to progress to something worse. So let's talk about some of the things that cause this. What's driving these things that we need to really focus on?
Yeah, one of the first things is that most people don't even realize this, but your morning Starbucks run is one of the biggest things that can cause anxiety. You've got caffeine overload in your system. When you get a caffeine overload, not only can that increase the ability to bring your cortisol levels up, it's going to lower your blood sugars, and you're going to get hangry. And what happens then? You get depressed, you get anxious, and it even leads to more issues from there. You've got issues with food sensitivities, diets that promote inflammation in your body. You say, well, I just get bloated after a while. I eat some of this stuff, or I get a little more anxious after I eat some of these things.
Yeah, it's just some of these balances. We think of a lot of these anxiety disorders are just a lack of balance. And with the nervous system, there's a parasympathetic and a sympathetic system that operate. Sympathetic system is going to be that fight or flight. You're going to get a little more anxiety and anxious when that system starts to rev up in the body. The parasympathetic system is what really calms us down. It's really about digestion, sleep, rest, and really some maybe better focus, I would say, when you're dealing with those things. So sometimes it's about increasing that parasympathetic activity and decreasing the sympathetic drive, and obviously there's some factors that can do that. We can use some supplements to help balance some of these things. What would we recommend for that?
One of the first things that I would recommend to someone is kind of that natural tranquilizer to the body, magnesium. Everybody likes to use that type of issue. You can use things like GABA, you can use things like 5-HTP to help regulate your sleep cycles, L-Theanine. A lot of times they put magnesium and L-Theanine together because there's such a calming aspect to the body.
And I think, a lot of things that we want to drive is lifestyle changes. We have to focus on what's creating this type of energy in our lifestyle. So, you talked about food sensitivities, looking at what we eat. There's certain foods that are going to drive that type of activity, but also look at our schedule. Sometimes we're packing so much into the day and trying to drive so many things through the day that it's overwhelming. I look at just the lifestyle of people get done maybe with their kids, like you get done with school, you go to the next sport, you go to the next activity, the birthday party, whatever it might be. It's one thing after another and you're always on the go. So make sure that you're taking time to pause, time to relax, time to meditate, time to pray. Those are things that can actually drive and stimulate that parasympathetic system that's going to get that balance back in. And then, of course, we want to do things with the diet, right?
Yeah, there's things that you can take out of the diet. One of those things that we talk about is, you hear it a lot, is excess glutamate. We say, well, what is glutamate? That's one of the things where you see it in processed meats, certain cheeses, you see it in certain seafoods, different things like that are going to create inflammation in your body, and that's going to lead to more and more anxiety down the road. You want to eat on a proper schedule. You don't want to eat that one meal a day, gorge yourself all at once. You want to have a regular schedule. You want to try to eat at least every 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, even if it's just a small snack, to keep your body getting the proper energy and nutrition that it needs.
Yeah, it just helps regulate the blood sugar when you're eating throughout the day. It doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be a big meal. It could be just a few snacks, maybe a handful of nuts or something like that, just to kind of keep that body and the blood sugars very stable. And then I'd say the last thing is making sure that you're getting good sleep. Sleep is one of the most common things that I think just gets dismissed. And you should be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And this helps with the adrenal function, calming down that activity that can really stress us. And then I think the big factor with sleep is look at your caffeine intake, right?
Yep.
A lot of people drink it too late in the day, and then they can't fall asleep good. They end up staying up late, and then that sleep gets, just starts diminishing, and obviously the next day is going to be that much harder. So I hope these things help just with maybe getting you some ideas to resolve your anxiety. And if you're struggling with this and you'd like some help, make sure that you give us a call here at the clinic and check out some of the other videos that we have on our channel.